My student, you see, let me say it so that the camera can capture it, that you are very disciplined, right? I must credit you for that. On a more serious note, you know, so I will really be grateful if you can keep it up like this. Eh? Okay. Today we are going to talk about your task. It's not difficult. It's not difficult, right? So what we are going to do, I'm going to explain to you today. Perhaps tomorrow we are going to start working on it, right? It's going to be done over 2 days. 2 days. It's not difficult. So when I'm explaining to you now, you need to take down some stuff. You take down notes that can help you, right? Okay. So that when you come tomorrow or when you get home, you can do a little bit of research. Prepare yourself in terms of what you're going to write tomorrow. You can listen. Listen. You can even take a small paper at home, you write down your stuff. Then when you come home tomorrow, you copy it from what you've written down. Right? It's allowed. Because while doing the task, it's kind of an open book, right? You can make use of your notes, you can make use of your books, whatever that can assist you. Right. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Assignment 1 is covering topic 1. Remember, we got only 3 topics as far as your subject is concerned, new venture for level 2. Only 3 topics. We've covered almost done with topic 1. Then topic 2, if God permits, we are going to do that one the second semester. I think we can, not second semester, second term. We can even finish the 2 topics then. Thereafter, then we prepare you for the revision. Okay, look at how it is. So, like I explained to you, it's going to be done over 2 days. Don't stress. Then 50 marks, that is the mark allocation. Now let's read the instructions. This is an open book assignment of which I've explained to you. I'm going to take it slowly, right? So that you understand. Hello, you at the far end. Are you hearing what I'm saying here? You are not for, come on, sit here. Come, sit here. Hello. I see now that you prefer to be playing with your phone, right? Rather than listening. Very soon we will not be allowing you to come in with your cell phone. Very soon. It's gonna be banned. Come and sit here. This, what we are doing now is very important because if you don't understand, you don't pass the task very well, it's a problem, right? Okay, so it's gonna be an open book assignment. You may use your class note, like I explained to you, prescribed textbook and approved learning resources provided during the lesson, right? So you can make use of your books, whatever resources that can assist you. It's allowed, right? Okay. Now, instruction number 2. The assignment will be completed over 2 consecutive class periods. 2 consecutive class periods, right? Just a minute. Hello, don't make too much noise. They're making too much noise. Don't care. It's over. It's that side. Okay. So 2 consecutive periods means if you start today, right? Is it still working? If you start today, it means tomorrow you end it. You stop it, right? Okay. So that is how it's gonna work. So we are not starting today. Don't be worried about that. We're gonna start tomorrow. Yeah, be your first task. I'm gonna walk you through all the way, right? Don't panic. Make sure that we get it right. At least 80%, right? You must always go for 80%. I don't like 75% either. 75%, right? 80. Okay. So we said answer all questions fully and clearly, right? Read each question carefully before answering. Of course, you don't just have to read it without understanding it, then you start writing. Right. I think these things must be disturbing you. Yeah? Okay. Let me try to see if this thing can go around a little bit. I'm worried because I don't want this thing to fall down because it's like this thing is not so strong. Okay. Now, this is an individual assessment task, no discussions. Right. Oh, it's okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. You see now I've got I've got a new stand, right? But I'm afraid of the stand. It's not so strong. But anyhow, let's see. We are still testing it. Test it. Don't attract it because I see you got a kind of affinity that is making it to come towards you. Right? Okay. Guys, it's an individual assessment. What it means is you are on your own, right? It's not a group work. Do you understand that? Okay. Then where is it? Individual. Where were we? Answer. I'm look. Okay. 8. Show all reasoning, explanation, and example where required. Right? You add your own voice. You keep your work neat, organized, and legible. Right? But at least your work should be neat. Right? And you must make sure that. Remember, you are not going to tap it. You are writing. It's handwritten. So make sure that you write properly. Otherwise, you're gonna give me big problem, right? To strain my eyes to see what you are writing. You must write nicely, no? Yeah. So when you hand in or when you completed the assignment at the end of the second day, so you must hand in. If you don't hand in that day, you are going to be, yeah. They said late submission will be dealt with according to college assessment policy. You may be penalized. Right, let me use that language. Okay, see what we are going to do is very easy, right? It's a case study. From the case study, then we are going to attempt the following questions or the questions that goes along with it. Question number 1, right? Case study. The case study is about load shedding and small businesses. We all do know what happened during the load shedding period, right? There were a lot of consequences that went with it, most especially the implications it had on small businesses, right? We were all fed up, personally, individually. Each and every one of us were fed up. You know what happened during load shedding. All of a sudden, before you know, the electricity is gone. Imagine if you had a business then, for small businesses to cope with such a condition, it was not so easy. So there's a case study on that. Then we try to attempt the questions that goes with it as well. Then let's read the case study. South Africa continued to experience regular load shedding due to electricity supply. Tomorrow I'm gonna look for a pointer. When I'm reading like this, I want to be pointing at it like this. No? Every day we're gonna be improving. Right. When I go home today, I'm gonna go and look for a pointer. I hope I don't forget. Otherwise, you're gonna say the teacher said you're gonna bring a pointer. Now he's not getting the pointer. You know pointer? Yeah. So many small businesses such as hair salons, spaza shops, internet cafe, and food vendors are affected by power cut. Some entrepreneurs responded by doing what? Buying generator, selling alternative energy products, or adjusting their operating hours to reduce losses. Yeah, during the load shedding, we're all witnesses to what happened then. This one is not a story whereby you say you didn't know what happened. Actually, it did happen. That many small businesses per se were adversely affected to the extent that some were buying generators and those that couldn't afford to buy generator, what happened to them? They decided, some of them decided to be adjusting their operating hours to reduce their losses. Because, for example, when you've got a business, you are renting a place. You cannot tell your landlord and say, landlord, please, did you see last month there was no electricity, there was load shedding, I couldn't operate. I'm not gonna pay you full rent now. Instead of 10,000, I pay you 5,000. What the landlord gonna tell you? He said, this my tenants is crazy. Do you understand? The landlord will tell you it wasn't his fault. So all those costs were being paid, whether you make money, your business was making money or it wasn't making money. It was a great loss, right? So it was not a good news. I could remember those days when you see somebody putting on the clothes of ESCOM, then you get cross as if you want to vent your anger on that person. Some of the workers, employees that were working for ESCOM, when they are going to work, they put their clothes in the bag because they don't want their clothes only to offend people. Now we thought that it was the ESCOM employees that was doing it. It wasn't. Because when you analyze the economy of South Africa, you see there is always a room for growth. You must have done this in economics, right? There is always a room for growth. For example, if I may ask you, when was the plant, nuclear plant that is generating electricity at Quebec, when was it constructed? Long, long time ago. What was the population of South Africa then? It wasn't much, right? The population is growing and it constitutes a high demand, a higher demand, of which the grid is now being strained, overstretched. Do you see what I mean? It although there were problem of corruption as well, which orchestrated on its own part, but the major problem is the high demand, right? Compared to the capacity, because the capacity of ESCOM is being overstretched. That is why there was load shedding, right? You must know that. Okay, I'm not here to defend ESCOM anyway, right? That was the reality. Yeah. So now, this is the case study, the story, right? We need to answer the questions that follows. So now you'll be asked this kind of question. Is electricity supply considered a product or a service? Right? Explain your answer. So before you can be able to find plausible answer, right? Or rational, reasonable answer to this, you need to be able to remind yourself the differences between the product and the service, right? Remember when we're, excuse, when we're talking about products, right? We say it's something that you can feel, you can touch it, you can taste it, you can take it home, all those type of stuff, right? So you think for yourself now, if electricity is like that, right? Remember, when we talk about the characteristics of a service, right? We're talking about non-perishability and all those type of, yes, non-perishability. We're talking about intangibility and all those stuff. So we need to go back there for us to be able to provide plausible answers to these questions. So we need to comprehend that for one to be able to do justice to this question. Okay, now 1.2, right? You say electricity is regarded as a service. Okay, here you need to, this, if you say it's a product, you must provide answer. If you say the answer I mean you must provide, you must substantiate. We call it substantiate or buttress or give reasons. You know, let me put it in a better term that you can understand it more better. You provide reasons. If you say it's a service, provide reasons. Does it make sense to you? Then this one, uh, electricity is regarded as a service, as they said. Explain four characteristics of a service by completing the table below, right? But when you look at this question, I don't know who set this question. It's more or less the same, right? Here now is providing more answer to what is here, which is, I don't know how this person said this question. But anyhow, let us not put blames on people. We just have to do what we are given to work on. Right. Then the four characteristics, right? Service. If you say, if you give the characteristics here, you explain. Is it difficult? You got your book, right? Yeah. So you must read your book. Yeah, of course. Tomorrow, when you are going to work on it in the class, you are gonna come with your books, right? But to facilitate it, read your books at home, this area, so that tomorrow, when you are writing from your book, you must know where it is, right? Besides the book, you got the slides that I gave to you. Some of these answers are there. The characteristics are there, right? Okay. Now they need only four. Then identify the core business activities of ESCOM. We've done something about the core activities, right, of a business, right? Then you customize it to ESCOM. What are the core activities? You say it's only 2 marks. You can be able to know about it. I don't want to tell you the answer now, but you know, right? Okay. So what you could do to help yourself, if you got a kind of internet, then you can Google, say what is the core. There is nobody that doesn't know the core activity of ESCOM, right? But if you are still in doubt, you can Google it. What is the core activity of ESCOM? But don't put junks. You put the most relevant one. Then 1.4, list 5 stakeholders that have an interest in ESCOM. If I ask you, when you look at this question, if I ask you to start writing now, you're going to finish it. This task is easy. You know what we mean by stakeholders. Haven't we done stakeholders here? We did it. Stakeholders. We say stakeholders could be individual, could be people, it could be organizations, right? They've got vested interest in the business, right? Yourself as the buyer, the end user of electricity, you are a stakeholder as well, right? So the government is a stakeholder. You know, I don't want to give you the answers. You must find out on your own the stakeholders of ESCOM. Then tomorrow you are going to write it. Is it difficult? Hello, who is not following me? You. Are you following me? Hey, you lost. You sure? Let me look for people that are lost. You lost. Okay. You are with me. All right. You see, what we are doing now is very important, right? It's part of the assessment. Then indicate 1.5. Under which business sector ESCOM operates? We did this. We did this. Remember, we got primary industry, we got secondary, we got tertiary, right? So you go home, you revise your work, and be able to know what constitutes primary as well as secondary and tertiary, right? To be on the safer side, you can Google it or you go to ChatGPT. Do you even know anything about ChatGPT? ChatGPT, do you know about it? Oh, ChatGPT can help you. Can help you. Do you know me personally? I've got a kind of a platform that can assist in some of these questions. Me, I've got my own platform. It's a kind of, I don't want to call it chat GPT. It's a kind of assistant, virtual assistant, right? On WhatsApp, mine doesn't use web. It uses data from WhatsApp. Yes, if you save my number 07161142249, you save it, then huh? No, not that one. Yeah, I've got a special number I'm using for it. 071 611 4249. 424249. Yeah, yeah, two. Yeah, 49. Yeah, yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah. That is my virtual assistant. You can ask questions there. You can ask mathematics questions. It will provide you answers. Right? Have you saved it? If you save it, say hi. I'm gonna speak to you. Say hello. You see, I did that for my students. And there's another one I did for project management. You see, I play around IT as well. You see? Yeah. You know. So if you ask there, perhaps if you ask that my virtual assistant to say what is the business sector of ESCOM, maybe it's gonna be able to tell you perhaps. Right. But that thing is mostly done for mathematics. That virtual assistant is mostly for mathematics. Right? If they got questions that you don't understand in mass lit, ask that thing, they're gonna show you, give you the answers. Right? Okay. Now, indicate, we've talked about that. You see, the question one is 20 marks, right? Now, question two is a case study. It's about pick and pay. Then pick and pay, as they said, is a large retail business, you know it, that sells groceries or groceries, how do you pronounce it? As the way you would like to be pronounced, no problem. Household items and clothing to customers across South Africa. Do we have pick and pay in other African countries? I don't know. But I know ShopRite. There was a time they had ShopRite in Nigeria, in Malawi, and all those type of stuff. Maybe. Perhaps I don't know much about it. Like pick and pay. They should be there. I don't know. Namibia. Okay, you got pick and pay in Namibia. It's great, man. Then before product reach customers, they go through different stages of production and distribution. We did this, right? Right. So explain the three stages of the value chain that a box of breakfast cereal goes through before reaching the customer. Input. We talk about the raw material and what the transformation, what goes on the output. Right. That is what they need. We did this, right? So I think we got an example of cereal in your book. Yeah, cereal. What do you call it? Cereal. Yeah, or Kellogg's. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, yeah. So you try to customize it, be able to sort out the inputs, the transformation process, what happened, and at the end of the day, what turns out, which is the output, right? Then identify the type of organization Pick and Pay is and explain your answers, right? What type of organization? We did different types of organization. Remember, we did government organization, we did non-profit organization, so forth and so forth. There were three that we did. You should be able to classify, right? Then list, oh, this is a mistake here now. I'm going to correct it. Maybe they made a mistake. It's supposed, not maybe, it's a mistake. It's obvious. It should be three competitors of Pick and Pay. Three competitors of Pick and Pay. Without you scratching your head, you can easily talk about ShopRite. Yeah? Even Woolworth is a competitor of Pick and Pay. Woolworth Food, right? It's a competitor. So you can easily identify that without any sweat, right? Then 2.4, in a free, hey, this guy, they use my language here. I love this language. In a free market economy, there will always be competition. We talked about this, right? Then give 4 reasons why competition between companies has benefit for the customer. This one, the answers to this is exactly in your book. It's there. You know where it is. It's there. The answers to the lower prices, innovation and all those stuff. It's in your book, right? Are you lost? Okay, good. Then explain the term competitive advantage, right? Competitive advantage is in your book, but don't just life it from your book. Remember, it's going to be an open book test. You just try to play around with it using your own words to explain it, right? Using your own words. What is competitive advantage? When you are doing something more better than your competitor, right? It's a kind of a competitive advantage. Or if you are able to reach the market that they cannot be able to reach, it's a competitive advantage for you, right? Something that can make you to be able to do more, to outwit, to outperform more than your competitors. Did you see? For example, I don't want to use business now. I want to use a literary example. Let's say in a class now, in a classroom, right, where you have 10 clever students, right? If you are able, or let's say if you got the capability of being able to study throughout the whole night, that is a competitive advantage for you. Because when you are able to study the whole night, obviously you're gonna perform more than people that doesn't are not able to study throughout the whole night. Because you're gonna be able to cover the whole topic or the whole curriculum or the whole scope that you need to cover compared to somebody that cannot even afford to sit for 6 hours, then will fall asleep. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. Okay, for example, if you got a business, right? Let's say you got a business of making chicken mayo, like my business. Remember my business, right? Chicken mayo, right? Let's assume that me, I'm distributing by walking, right? This example I'm giving to you now is a real life example that happened to me. When I was doing the business, I didn't have any means of mobility, right? I used to walk. There was another guy that was doing the same business. That guy had a small buggy. I used to meet up with him in town. Before I get to that place, he's already gone round. That guy was my competitor because of the competitive advantage he had by having a vehicle to move around. Before I could get to town, himself have already serviced the whole city. Did you see? That was he was doing something more, but he was having a kind of a miss, and more better than me, that positioned him in such a way that he was able to outwit me in terms of delivery, in terms of distribution. Does it make sense to you? Is it clear? What is better? You can do best more than your competitors. That will make customers to decide to say, I will buy from you rather than buying from your competitor. That is what we are trying to say. For example, ShopRite have got a low price. Ostanze, Yaniva, so low price, low. The prices are low. That is why you see people flock ShopRite. Yes, yeah, people go there because of the low price. They've got a competitive advantage of that. For you, for the ShopRite to be selling at low price, you think it's easy. It's not easy. They went to go and source that their product from a very cheap source. And that is why they are able to sell at a low price. It's not all retailers that can be able to do that. So that one constitutes a kind of competitive advantage to them. That is how they are getting the market. Look at Jonga, look at Capitec versus FNB, Standard Bank, or Nedbank. Capitec is their charges are low. It constitutes a competitive advantage to them. That is why today people are flocking Capitec. I told you last time I went to Century City, right? I went to the ATM side. I was to withdraw money. I've got an account with FNB. I've got with Capitec, right? When I got there, the queue for Capitec is like from here to the other end. When I checked, there was no queue, single person on the side of FNB. Then I went there, although I was happy so that I can easily get myself down there. But inwardly, I thought about something. Something quickly occurred to my mind. I said, did you see now? FNB have lost a lot of clients. You see, you understand what I mean? They've lost because Capitec have got that kind of competitive advantage now using low charges to attract clients. And I read in the newspaper the other day that Capitec is now becoming one of the biggest banks in South Africa. Yeah, becoming one of the biggest banks in South Africa. When did they start? They started yesterday. Did you see? They leverage their competitive advantage to kick out the other competitors. That is what we are talking about. Right. Are you with me? Yeah. So, is the period over? No, I need to. This is okay. It's almost done, right? I need to finish this stuff. I see now your face have changed. She's cross. Eh? Now, okay, Jonga, let's go faster now. But we've done the competitive advantage. This one is easy, SWOT analysis. Haven't we done SWOT analysis? Okay, I know we stop at strength and weaknesses, right? But this thing is in your book, right? We talk about the strength. Remember, we're talking about quality product, offering low prices. Those constitute strength to the business, right? Then we talk about the weaknesses. If you don't have finance, capital, I think yesterday I put the slide. Check that slide that I sent to you. You got strength and weaknesses, opportunity and threat. That is what they require here. But let's see what the question is asking about. Let's see what the question is asking. From the list below, identify two strengths. It's easy, man. You just pick from here, right? Identify two strengths, two weaknesses, two opportunities, and two threats of pick and pay. You just read from here, you've given the options, then you place it where it belongs. Customer loyalty is high. If it is a strength, you put it. Intense competition from retailer, that should be threat, right? Expansion into a new business is an opportunity. High operating costs, right? That one is a weakness. I don't want to give you the answer, right? Then stronger supplier relationship. Look for where it is. Economy slow down, right? Look for where you're gonna put it. Innovation in supply chain system. Whether it's a strength, you must say it. Low shedding affect operations. You need to classify them accordingly, right? So that is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Right. So, is there any question? Any question? Do you understand it? Are you afraid of it? Huh? Okay. So, from what you written down, when you get home, just look through. Then you come tomorrow. If you are able to write it tomorrow, to start tomorrow, you let me know. Right? So, if you are, yeah, let me not try to make you lazy. Right. So that's it. Guys, this one tomorrow you sign the register. This one is for the induction training. Right? Yeah. Great. All right. Yeah, are you here now?
Yes. If you have a little
No, I don't have
buy any
it.
other liquid.
I don't have it. Yeah. Hey, my man.
I forgot to withdraw the money yesterday, ne? What you must do, you must just create a new PIN and send the
No, I put your number. You create it.
Must I create it?
Yeah.
Because it says it's valid for 16 days.
Yeah, you create it.
Okay.
Because it's your number. I
Okay.
can't create it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But you won't take home. You're gonna do it here. Yeah.
So you can't just say that's
No. Huh? Who is that teacher? They say you mustn't take home. Okay, you come tomorrow. Let's see what is gonna happen.
maybe red there. I thought maybe gonna give. I didn't know red what to. But I have nothing. But I was like,
Okay, tomorrow. Let's see. Let's see what
then
is
we
gonna
can go
happen.
through this.
Because you have 2 days.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.